One day, in the summer of 1969, three school children, about 12-14 years old, were walking in the woods near the village of Pyatikhatki on the outskirts of the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. Suddenly they saw that the soil among the bushes was sinking in several places. The recesses were rectangular and up to 70 centimeters deep. What would curious teens do in this case? That's right, they began to dig one of the recesses. At a depth of about 1 meter, they found skulls, bones, old shoes, a ring with the initials AK and the date 06-29-24, gold crowns of teeth, and buttons with the image of the old coat of arms of Poland. The guys apparently got scared and ran away without telling anyone about the terrible find. But someone else discovered the hole, and soon the KGB officers arrived there. A few days later, the leader of Soviet Ukraine, Petro Shelest, and the chairman of the All-Union KGB, Yuri Andropov, received reports on what happened near Kharkiv. The Polish button found in the ground, of course, didn't get there by chance.
From the report of the Kharkiv KGB to the head of the KGB of Ukraine, Vitaly Nikitchenko, the KGB pensioner N.A. Golitsyn, who had worked as a driver in the state security bodies since the pre-war years and participated in the execution of sentences on the capital punishment, after examining the place where the graves were found, explained that in April and May 1940, with his participation, the decision to shoot about 13,000 officers and generals of bourgeois Poland was executed. And these officers and generals are buried in pits in the forest near the village of Pyatikhatki. Golitsyn also explained that among the Poles there could have been an insignificant part of the executed Soviet citizens who were sentenced in 1940.
In total, KGB officers counted 112 burial sites, ranging from 4 to 60 square meters each, which were located on an area of more than 7,000 square meters. A short background. In September 1939, first German and 16 days later Soviet troops attacked Poland. The regimes of Hitler and Stalin agreed in advance on the division of this country. Poland was soon defeated, and up to 450,000 soldiers, officers and other citizens, such as priests and officials, were captured by the Soviet Union. Most of them were soon released, but about 40,000, mostly officers, remained in several Soviet prisoner of war camps. At the beginning of April 1940, people from these camps began to be taken out by trains. Many of them rejoiced, thinking that liberation awaited them. They didn't know that a month earlier, the Politburo, the top leadership of the USSR, headed by Stalin, had made a decision
to consider the cases of former Polish officers in a special order with the use of the capital punishment, execution.
The head of the NKVD, Lavrentiy Beria, who proposed this idea to the Politburo, explained this by the fact that all the prisoners are inveterate, incorrigible enemies of the Soviet regime. Millions of people know about the execution of the Polish military in the Katyn forest in Russia. But by the concept of the Katyn tragedy, we also mean executions in other parts of the USSR. Prisoners of the Starobilsk camp in Ukraine were shot in the basements of the NKVD building in the city of Kharkiv. There were about 3,800 people. Jakub Wajda, the father of the outstanding Polish filmmaker Andrzej Wajda, was one of them. The killings lasted from April 5th to May 12, 1940. The dead bodies were taken out into the forest near the village of Pyatikhatki, where they were buried in pits dug in advance. The Soviet Union kept its crime a secret. When the head of the Polish government in exile, Władysław Sikorski, and General Władysław Anders met with Joseph Stalin to discuss the creation of a Polish army in the USSR, Anders' army, they asked him about the fate of the 1,000 missing officers. The Soviet leader replied that all the captured Poles were freed, and those who didn't return home simply fled.
Anders: where could they run? Stalin: well, to Manchuria.
In 1943, the Nazi invaders carried out an exhumation in Katyn and an investigation into the shootings in order to use it for their propaganda. This is how the world learned about the tragedy. The Soviet Union denied everything and accused the Nazis of the executions. And now, when the children have dug up one of the burial places in Pyatikhatki, the KGB was trying to prevent anyone from learning the truth about what happened there almost 30 years ago.
From the report of the Kharkiv KGB to the head of the KGB of Ukraine, Vitaly Nikitchenko. As soon as rumors about the nature of the graves are revealed, we will take disinformation measures.
Nikitchenko specified in his reports to Shelest and Andropov.
We consider it expedient to explain to the population in the vicinity that the punitive bodies of Germany during the occupation by the Germans in the indicated place made burials without honors of those who were shot for desertion and other crimes of soldiers and officers of the German and Allied armies. At the same time, in the same place, the Germans buried those who have been dying of various dangerous infectious diseases, typhus, cholera, syphilis, etc. And therefore, they said, burial should be recognized by the health authorities as dangerous to visit. This place will be treated with bleach, quarantined, and subsequently covered with soil.
If you want, you can support our channel by becoming its patron. A link to the Patreon page below this video. We are grateful to the viewers who have already become our patrons: Maxim Senjak, Thaddeus Karlovsky, and Andriy Rybalko. If you are not yet subscribed, do so. And don't forget to hit the bell button. A police post was established near the burial site, but teenagers continued to sneak there, trying to find ammunition or weapons. Summer camps were located around, that is, there were many teenagers there. And soon the KGB developed an action plan for the elimination of burials, which are named in the document as a special object. Here are its main points. To organize round-the-clock security of the facility by the KGB guards. To enclose the object with a barbed wire fence. To obtain permission from the local authorities for the construction of a certain KGB facility, to avoid unnecessary questions about what is behind the fence. Moreover, one of the documents contains a proposal to actually build a KGB educational institution here when the main work is completed. But apparently later this idea was not approved. To purchase protective equipment, to purchase and deliver 13 tons of scaled sodium hydroxide in packages of 50 kilograms. 3 people had to dig holes using earth-moving machinery, and another 6 had to fill the remains of the church with caustic sodium and fill pits with water. Sodium hydroxide, also known as caustic soda, dissolves organic matter. You may have used it to unclog pipes. If so, you know to be careful with this substance, it can cause chemical burns. The plan assumed that the main work would take 10-15 days. It was such an important matter that the head of the Kharkiv KGB department, Pyotr Fedchenko, discussed it with the deputy chairman of the USSR KGB, Semyon Svigun, and even with Yuri Andropov himself. I'm not good at chemistry and don't even know if it's possible to destroy human remains with sodium hydroxide. Perhaps it was the wrong substance for such an idea, or it was too little, or the KGB made other mistake, but the bodies remained in the ground. All these years, the Polish communist rulers preferred not to talk about the Katyn tragedy, but the people remembered about it. In the late 1980s, the Soviet government recognized the crimes of the Stalin era. Some documents about the executions of Poles were published, and the prosecutor's office interrogated former NKVD officers who participated in those events. Polish experts carried out the exhumation of the bodies of victims of the mass execution in Kharkiv in 1991-1996. The remains of 4,302 people were found. 3,820 of them were identified. Participants in the exhumation drew attention to traces of the use of drilling equipment and caustic sodium. They didn't yet know about the attempt to destroy the special object in 1969. The memorial complex in memory of the executed Polish officers appeared at this place in 2000. And the Security Service of Ukraine declassified documents cited in this episode in 2009.